Everybody. It's exactly 8 o'clock, so I'm getting started. Is everybody ready for a nice, simple little live stream? Let me put this on first. Here we are. All in blue. Samantha, I put the backlight on. Here. Like you requested the last time. And let me see who's here. Hello, Red Boy. One of my most loyal live stream watchers. And I saw Daphne. Hi, Daphne. And Sep Ricciardo. But he's playing Fortnite. I hope you get a solo in, mate. And there's Wheel Sports. Hello, Jason. Thank you for making time in your busy schedule. And there's Dark Power. Also one of my new regulars. Great. So what have I got planned for today? In January I made a video with 8 wild predictions, and that was before testing, before we knew anything. With my thoughts on the up and coming season, and I just want to see how they're holding up. I think I did quite well. No, don't think I did quite well. Has everybody followed the news lately? Formula One news. Jonathan Wheatley leaving. Made a video about that yesterday. Yeah, I might have to dedicate another video next, or another live stream next week about with me moaning about Red Bull. Right, you know what? I'm just gonna get the media source. Hello, Theo. Red Bull are done. That's a nice way to come into a chat. Mazepin will be back in 2026. Well, he will be back, but not in Formula One. Back in Russia. Jason says, so F1 is officially an Ecclestone sport again. Well, seeing the drivers that are being kept in the two Red Bull teams, I think there's a few different things going on except getting the best drivers in the right seats. But yeah, don't want to moan about that too much. Right, so I'm gonna just start the video. Let me know if the sound is working.
Oh my god, is he really getting that seat? Oh boy, what could this AI picture made with Copilot mean?
Yeah, is the sound working? I can hear it in my headphones, but I want to know if you guys can hear it on the screen. Yeah, in January I was going through a phase of using a lot of AI, even for the thumbnails and stuff. Oh yeah, see, on my TV the sound is working. That's brilliant. Yeah, so I was using a bit of AI. That app is called Copilot. It's free on Android phones. Let me sit like this, so I'm not in the screen. Okay, Wheelsport says, if high-tech GP by Alpine, he'll be back. Okay. Red Boy says, it's working. Dark Power says, it's perfect. Wheelsport says, yep, sounds terrible as all of your videos. Yeah, that's just because I don't have that one of those expensive, what is it called? Fuse microphones. One of those posh ones that all the posh podcasters have, like Joe Rogan. And Red Boy says, I mean, all your stream thumbnails are AI. Yeah, I still like to use it for my for my thumbnails of the live streams. Okay, let's continue with the video.
This is the time of the year when all the Formula 1 content creators make their wildest predictions.
So, that is in January, okay?
I did it last year, I enjoyed it, so now I'm doing it again. You don't have to watch it, but you'll have a laugh if you do. I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like.
You can all do that now as well. Leave a like. Okay?
8. Surprise of the season. Let's
go to the chat. Oh wait, here's Elbow.
begin with a juicy surprise of the season.
Who do you guys have as a surprise of the season? Yep, I'm wearing a Ferrari shirt. Oh yeah, Jason, it's called a Shure microphone. Sure. Okay.
By a driver who's being hated on from every direction. He's one of the nicest, calmest people on the grid, and he's lovely to the people that he works with too. Last year, he was very unlucky with his wrist injuries at the start of the season, and when he finally found some form, the car was crap. I'm, of course, talking about Sir Lancelot Stroll. He will match Alonso straight away this season, and people will be surprised that after all these years, he's finally doing a thing. How do you like them apples? No window, please.
Okay, so I have Lance Stroll as the surprise of the season. Now, with the Aston Martin car being as crap as it is, and the team favouring Lance Stroll, he's actually beating Alonso every once in a while. He's keeping up, which is quite surprising. Was it 2 races ago that he was meant to... he passed Alonso with a team order saying, you know, you can go attack Ocon, and if it doesn't work out, then you have to give the position back. And, oh, wait. I forgot my microphone. And then he didn't. He just refused. And that pissed Alonso off, and you don't want to have Fernando Alonso pissed off. So, but yeah, is Lance Stroll the surprise of the season? No. So who is the surprise of the season then? I don't think Oscar Piastri is the surprise of the season either. You know, like he's doing really well and he got his first win, which is brilliant. But it's not like, oh my God, he's performing so well. I don't think in the first 6 months there is a massive surprise of the season. You know, a driver being terrible and then all of a sudden being brilliant. Maybe Nico Hulkenberg, but he was pretty good last year as well in qualifying and stuff. It's a hard one. Right, let me go to the chat. Red Boy says, Oscar's first win. Daphne says, for Verstappen, this will be a hard year, but 2025 will be a great year for all F1 fans. Yeah, I think so too. But there's this thing that that I've been thinking about. Now, if all these cars up front, they all go pretty much the same speed because they're all equally strong, then it's getting way harder to overtake each other again, and you'll get these DRS trains and you'll get these gameplays with pit stops. But if everybody does their pit stops correctly in the right place, then yeah, you'll see a lot of people that, you know, that are in front only 2 or 3 seconds ahead, and they'll stay ahead because, you know, overtaking is impossible. This is something that happened in Belgium as well. That Lewis Hamilton on much fresher tires couldn't overtake George Russell on way older tires. So, you know, it's not guaranteed that with all these cars being equally fast, that it's actually good for good racing. Now, I'm not saying that Max Verstappen, um, finishing 30 seconds ahead was good for racing, but I think it's important for different teams to have um, an upper hand in races, and then winning that way. That makes for the best racing, I think. The chat's gone ahead of me. Wheelsport says Alonso is either testing the car or he's given up for the season. Yeah, Alonso is a bit like that, isn't he? Like he's freaking 43 years old, but if it doesn't go his way, then he's like, fuck it, which is a pity. And there's also debate about how good Fernando Alonso is for actual developing cars, because I don't think he's ever been in a team that was poor that got way better because he was there. He knows how to maximize the car that he's in. So, but that's maybe a debate for a video. Red Boy says Alonso at 0.000000004% of his power. And Wheelsport says, I refuse to believe the window licker is faster. And Samantha says, woo, sound is better. I thought it was soft because of the Hoover still going. No, I just forgot to put the microwave in the right place. The microwave. The microphone. My blue. What's it called again? Okay. And there's Yifeng again. Hello, Yifeng. Sean Tan. Welcome. As it maybe has as a team. That's a good one. Because I had them dead last in all my predictions, and I think they're 7th now. So they're doing way better than expected since the Gunther Steiner has dropped. So that's a good one. Red Boy says, well, 6 months ago, Oscar would have been surprising. Yeah, I agree. Jason says, oh, wait. The surprise of the season is the convergence happening a year early. Yeah, well, if Red Bull's to believe, they expected halfway through last year all the teams to be catching up. They were surprised that they didn't. And Yifeng says, that's true as well. I don't know what that was about, but it's okay. Red Boy says, Ferrari is screwed. No. I read an article yesterday that Ferrari is bringing upgrades to fix the wrong upgrades, and they'll be fast again. So it would be nice if they were shit, though, for next year, because Lewis Hamilton is there. And Wheelsport says, Haas, I thought was surprising, but if you were following the off-season, I think less so, because it's more the other teams around them dropping the ball. Well, that's true as well. Like, Alpine is shite, and then Williams is scoring less points than last year, and Stake is a complete joke. But we might get to that later. Jason says, like Aston last year, the DRS decision for Belgium was bizarre. And Samantha is probably talking about Fernando Alonso, saying, I'm very disappointed in him this far. And that's a lot for Samantha to be disappointed in someone, because she's my wife and she's been let down so often. So shame on you, Fernando. And Wheelsport says they shortened it, just like get rid of it as they are in 2026, or keep it long and have DRS passing. You're talking about how they shortened the bit on the track where they could use the DRS, and that's why the cars were stuck behind each other. Yeah. Um, and Jason says he hasn't been in a team long enough. I don't know. Oh, he's talking about Alonso not being in a team long enough. Now, usually after 2 years, he walks away angry. And Samantha knows the name of my microphone, the Blue Yeti. Yes. And Daphne says, Wim, the baby is fine. Thank you for asking. Well, congratulations. Maybe Samantha can crochet something for you. Like a baby goat. She's actually been doing that. To sell. And Yifeng says, I also had Haas dead last in the constructors at the start of the season. Yeah, it's not that strange. Dark Power says, I think Nando is real because he knows of how bad the car is. He drives his balls of no matter what. But for now, he lets it go due to performance. And Samantha wants to know how old the baby is. And Hank says, Hi guys, I made it. Yes, Hank, you made it in time. Hallelujah. Welcome. And Jason says, Newey said this year at the start of the season that they've reached the upper limits of the regs. Looks like he was right. Now the decision is, can Red Bull upgrade with their suspension this year? I hope so. For Checo. I hope Checo proves all the haters wrong. I've always believed in him. Red Boy says, faster on track by 2 seconds a lap, 16-second pit stop, Ferrari. And Wheelsport says, and if not, how big a difference will it make in 2025? And Yifeng says, biggest negative surprise will definitely be Alpine. Yeah. Definitely big negative surprise. Samantha says, that's right, Wim, you tell Alonso off. From your lips to God's ears. Haha, I bet Alonso wins now. That would be a scene. And Jason is talking about the DRS again in Spa. Yep, they shortened the DRS on the Camel Straight. And Hank is saying hi to my wife. Daphne says, for Verstappen, this will be a hard year, but 2025 will be a great year for all F1 fans. Okay, everybody's greeting Hank. Samantha says, my F1 goats are being like real goats, stubborn little shits. Yeah, just like on Clarkson's farm. Okay, let's go to the next silly prediction.
Crash happy team. Last year, the team that crashed the most was Alpine. Those two French frenemies found each other on track, and even without them wanting to, they kept taking each other out. This will get worse in 2024, as Ocon has already had a few very juicy quotes about the coming season. He didn't like losing to Gasly very much. He says he's going into war mode in 2024. Well, we've seen that before, and with two hot-headed French lads with a bit of history and no team around them, this could be dynamite.
Duck, you sucker.
Six.
That was a scene from one of my favorite westerns called, well, it has 3 titles, but the main title is Fistful of Dynamite, directed by Sergio Leone, with music from, Ennio Morricone. It's like Once Upon a Time in the West, except that it's in Mexico and there's an Irish lad blowing up stuff all the time. If you haven't seen it, try to find it because it's brilliant. Okay, so I expected Ocon and Gasly to crash way more than they actually did. They did have a big one in Monaco, and that got Ocon a big penalty. And Bruno Famin threatened to leave him out of the race, the next race. So that was a big one. But I don't think Alpine is the most crash happy team. I think the team with the most damage is actually Red Bull. They passed the 5 million mark thanks to Checo Perez. That's another Mexican that likes to blow shit up. Yeah, so who else? Who else got loads of crashes? Sargent, although he hasn't been too bad lately. Who else? Russell's been very unfortunate, but were they crashes except Australia? Let me go into the chat first, and then you guys can think about who do you think is the most crash happy team so far. Hank says Alonso is known for his ability to drag a mediocre car quick around the track. He was never known for his development prowess. Yifeng wrote a message and then he deleted it again. And another one. Were you calling me a dick? It's okay. You know, you don't have to. You don't have to hold back here. Daphne says, Wim, you are really a Max fan. How can you tell? Is it the 3 posters there and all the pictures up there? Oh, you can't see it because of the video. Wheelsport says, love the adult version of that film. Fisted by dynamite. That's disgusting. That's disgusting, Jason. Jason, that's disgusting. Fisted by dynamite. And Hank says, Jason, are you sure there are no mirrors in the chat? Minors in the chat. Yeah, that's true. And Jason says, sorry, I'm tired. I'm saying things I shouldn't. People, Jason just finished, or almost finished, his documentary about O.J. Simpson. I've already watched it, and it's brilliant. So, yeah, I'll do a community post on my channel when it's out for everybody, and I'll promote it a lot on Twitter. Hey Yifeng, what's happening with your chat? Every comment you place is being deleted. Jason says, does Wim count as a minor, Hank? You're better off asking Samantha that. Hank says, don't be sorry, I am smiling. And Daphne says, my prediction, it's very close for Verstappen and next year Piastri. Okay, but Daphne, we're talking about the most crash-happy team so far this season. So try to think of a team that has been in lots of crashes with lots of damage. And Red Boy says GP2 engine. And Wheel Sports and Samantha, they're laughing. And Hank says, well, he's married. That means he's in need of guidance. And Wheel Sports says, Wim is planning out his next movie to make. Yifeng, honestly, I think Red Bull and Williams are the top 2 crash-happy teams this year so far. Thank you, Yifeng, for staying onto the subject. And I think you're right. Those 2 teams, I haven't seen the list yet, but I think that they have the most damage. And Jason says, haha, Wim has to say nice things because he's an executive producer. Yeah, Jason made me an executive producer of the documentary because I proof watched it and I gave him some hints, and now I'm all of a sudden I'm in. Um, does that mean I have to invest in it as well? And Hank says Verstappen and Piastri will be an epic dirty battle. Okay. Uh, Wheel Sports. I'm not seeing any deletions, but YouTube can be weird with the chat sometimes. And Yifeng says, I deleted them on my own because I typed the wrong stuff by mistake when talking about this category. Okay, well, everybody's just waffling, so don't worry about it. You don't have to delete your comments. And there's a new person again. Justin House. It's Justin House in the house. Hello, Justin. Haas is the most crash happy team. Yeah, Kevin Magnussen has been involved in quite a few big ones as well, especially the one in Monaco with Checo. He destroyed his own car and Checo's. That was a big one. Samantha says, that's so nice of Jason to do that. I'll be promoting it to everyone I know too. Daphne says, but your title is 2024 Reacting Prediction Stream, not about crashes. No, but point number 7 was who I thought in January was going to be the most crash happy team. So now I'm going to play a piece of the video here in the corner, up here. Yeah. And it's going to be number 6. And the topic that I'm talking about in the video is the topic that we're going to be talking in the chat. Okay, let's go.
The most unreliable car will be the Stake F1 team car. That team is just biding its time before it becomes the Audi Works team. They just took a whole pile of money from a gambling company to get them through the final stint before the regulation change. The people that came up with that name were probably baked. The Stake F1 team will be roasted all day long. If the team doesn't screw up, I'm sure the drivers will butcher it. Okay, that'll do. Seriously now.
I like puns. They're punny.
5.
Oh. Okay, yeah, the Stake F1 team. They have very unreliable pit stops. They all take about 30 seconds. Although they have been better lately. And the Stake F1 team will be better in the future when it becomes Audi, because they've got Jonathan Wheatley now, and he's the man behind all the quick pit stops at Red Bull. And Mattia Binotto is there. So Stake F1 team is a strange team, because one moment I'm thinking, oh, the team is so bad, Sainz doesn't want to even drive there. They can't get any proper good drivers. Although I think Hulkenberg is great, but he's not like, champion material. And on the other hand, they're getting all these really good people in now. So, yeah. It was quite surprising that those two, that Seidel and the other German fella, were let go as well. That surprised me. So what is the most unreliable team? I think Alpine is the most unreliable team. Gasly and Alpine, I think they had 3 DNFs in a row or something, or 2 DNFs in a row. That team is really struggling with reliability. Yeah, can't think of any others, so I'm going back to the chat. And we're probably talking about the previous topic. And there's Gentiles. Hello, Richard. Yifeng says both Haas were involved in the crash in Monaco. Yeah, both Haas drivers and Checo. Yifeng says, honestly, these have two clear candidates, Sauber and Alpine. That's the ones I just mentioned. And Red Boy says, I love the dad jokes. And Yifeng says, but I think Alpine got the advantage over it because of Gasly in the last few races. Yeah. And Wheelsport says, need a punny surname? Jason has it. Oh, and there's another one. Zabel Point. Hello, Zabel Point. I haven't seen you in here before. Welcome. If you want, you can do an introduction, where you're from and stuff. I always like that. But Zabel Point says, I actually find Ferrari to be the most unreliable car. Not so much in terms of breakdowns, but when you see how Ferrari's performance fluctuates, I also find that unreliable. Well, if you say unreliable as in it can't be trusted in corners and stuff with oversteer to understeer and the other way around, then I think you're right. Ferrari is pretty wishy-washy. And especially Charles Leclerc, it bothers him the most because he's always driving on a knife's edge. So yeah, I see your point. Oh, and there's Slowpat, and he made it only half an hour late instead of an hour late. Hello, Slowpat. Welcome. And Hank says, great prediction about steak F1. Thank you, Hank. You know what they say, a clock that doesn't work always predicts the time right twice a day. And Red Boy says, then again, Red Bull was the first car to explode. Just saying. That's true. That brake thing exploded on Max's car. And Gentilis has a problem that I've had in live chats as well. My chat isn't refreshing on its own. So annoying. Maybe delete all your chat history in Google. Oh yeah, your chat history, your search history. That will free up some space in your phone. I don't know. Yeah, someone says I had that last week, Richard. And Hank says like dynamite, Red Boy. Oh yeah, he's talking about the explosions. And Gentile says Renault and unreliable. Renault and unreliable are synonyms at this point. That's true. I mean, the Renault engines are so unreliable, even Alpine, a team partly owned by Renault, doesn't want to drive with Renault engines anymore. But I remember 5-6 years ago when Red Bull was complaining about Renault, everybody was angry, or the British media. They said, oh, you won so many championships with Renault engines and you shouldn't moan. Which was unfair. Ang says Renault hasn't a very good name in the production car business either, or as well. And Red Boy says refresh the stream or scroll down. Okay, Samantha says I did a cache clear on the YouTube app. Seems to have helped so far. Probably just a coincidence. And Red Boy says, I mean, Dynamite would have been fun. And Gentili says, I will try that too, Samantha. Okay, let's go to number 5. The worst a team.
First one wants more teams, but only if they bring value. With value, I doubt they mean what Haas has been showing us since their existence. Besides having a charismatic team principal with Gunther Steiner, and 2 really decent drivers with Hulk and K-Mag, there's nothing there to write home about. I don't see that changing anytime soon either. I hear nothing about new hires, it's silent on car upgrades or different philosophies with their design. They finished last in 2023 and they will finish even more last in 2024. My idea is to relegate them out of F1 for 1 season and give Andretti that seat. Haas can make their team stronger without having to do all that racing, and then they can replace the number 10 for the 2025 season. 4. Best of the rest.
Yeah, I totally got that one wrong. Because Haas has been surprisingly good. Then again, uh, two other teams really fell down the order with Alpine and Stake. But still, the upgrades that they're putting on the cars are working, and both teams or both drivers are scoring some points. So yeah, it's unfair to kick them out of the F1 now, especially because for a long time I've thought that Haas was just there, just to be there for advertising only. But nowadays, they're spending up to the budget cap. They've kicked out Gunther Steiner and replaced him with a very serious team principal. Um, so yeah, things are looking up for Haas. Next season, they have Oliver Behrman in the car, and that's just to please Ferrari. But that kid can probably drive just as well as Kevin Magnussen. And Ocon, who is a race winner and a podium sitter. And, Kevin Magnussen and Hulkenberg, they weren't race winners and podium sitters. So that's looking up as well. So the worst team this season is obviously Stake, but we've already talked about that. That they're just sort of biding their time until they become Audi, and the things that they have done haven't worked, which happens. Okay. Yifeng says our first worst prediction, and Red Boy says the stare of was I really that dumb? Yeah, I was just listening to myself and I'm thinking, yeah, you got it all wrong. But this was January. It wasn't. Like how much F1 news for 2024 did we get in January before the testing? And I like to get it wrong, because it makes for a surprising season. Yifeng says Ayo Komatsu really helped leading Haas to a decent position. Yes, I agree. And Ayo Komatsu is way more modest, so he it's not about him, it's about the team. And Gunther Steiner, I do miss him as well. That's what Samantha says. I miss Gunther for the laughs, but I mean, Gunther Steiner is like a show person. He's always involved in a part of a TV show on Ziggo for Dutch TV. Then he's one of the steady podcasters for the Red Flags podcast. He's doing all these bits and pieces. He's probably still making as much money as he was when he was team principal for Haas, which is kind of weird. So he loves the attention. Hank says Haas was lucky with Ferrari fixing the suspension. Yeah, see that's one of those technical things that I kind of missed. So you're saying that Haas had a problem with the suspension last season, and then Ferrari fixed it, and because they buy as much as is allowed from Ferrari, so their suspension was fixed as well. Yeah, okay. And Red Boy says, "Do not Fox smash my door." Yeah, that was class. Hank says Komatsu gets the credit for Ferrari's work. All right. Zobel Point, Kick Sauber. They drive around anonymously, and everything indicates that they're more focused on Audi in 2026 rather than the current season. They don't even have a proper team principal. That's true. And the thing that I was talking about was a sort of a relegation system, because now with the budget cap and what advertising brings in for those 10 teams, a team can decide to do the minimum to get a car on track and then become dead last and still make a profit, which isn't great for sporting reasons. Um, so yeah, we wouldn't miss Stake F1 team the way they're driving this season. I mean, poor Bottas is last, 21st out of a 20-person competition. And Slowpat says, Sam, Gunther makes a weekly hour-long appearance on another channel. Don't know if I can name it here, but very fun watch. Yeah, that's the Red Flags podcast, isn't it? I love those guys. Oh, Slowpat says, lol, Wimbo knew. Yeah. Wheelsport says, my prediction for the second half of the season. Mercedes drops off again, and everyone is surprised again. Okay. Well, we'll see. Hank says, spicy one, Jason. Samantha says, like him in the same way we like Clarkson's farm. He's just relatable and real. Yeah, so Samantha is comparing Gunther Steiner with Jeremy Clarkson now. So I see what you mean, Samantha. Red Boy says, the Sauber TikTok is the greatest W in all of F1. I haven't seen it. Hank says, Ferrari and Haas use the same suspension. Ferrari had a lot of problems with it last year. Okay. And Samantha says, everyone knows Alonso is my favorite, but I swear his TikTok has me in stitches too. Yeah, Alonso is funny on TikTok. Okay, let's go to prediction number 4.
Best of days to call. It used to be P4 after the 3 big teams. However, we have more teams at the front now with Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari and McLaren. That leaves us P5 really, and that would be Aston Martin. But what if AlphaTauri does really well with all the Red Bull stuff screwed on? Then again, what if one of the big teams fails miserably? That could actually happen. I'm thinking about one team in particular. So yeah, AlphaTauri will be best of the rest in P5 and Aston Martin will be P4. 3. Biggest Wimbo W of the year.
Oh, I'm stupid. I I thought I had to sneeze, so it turned off the audio, and then I didn't turn it on, and I didn't have to sneeze. Okay, let's go to the chat and forget about all this. Oh no. Samantha says, thanks for translating for me, Wim. And Wheelsforce says, it's such a different side to him. He was also always such a controversial figure. Oh, they're still talking about Clarkson and what do you call him? Gunther Steiner. Slopat says, not on TikTok, but I enjoy the Williams YouTube channel. With Logan going, they may put a stop to it. I don't know. Would be uncomfortable. Yeah, I watch videos from the Williams thing. Smut says, exactly. He seems to have lost a bit of his pretentious side. Okay, and then there's 5 people yelling that I have the audio off, which I fixed now. Uh-oh. And Wheelspur says, yeah, I think part of it is just there's public and private side to everyone. Like he's controversial and a menace in public, but behind the scenes everyone seems to think he's lovely. And OJ Simpson was the opposite. And Zabel Point says, oh my god, I'm deaf. Wheelsport's Wim giving the best take of his life and nobody is hearing it. Get a lip reader in. Told him, give him a second. Gesundheit. Okay, so what did I say about the best of the rest? Best of the rest, I had Alpha Tauri because I was considering P5 as best of the rest. But it turned out that it's hard to say this season who's best of the rest. So I was explaining that Red Bull, and McLaren, they're the top 2. And then you could say that Mercedes is the best of the rest. But then they've won 3 races in the last 4 races. So you could say there's a top 3. And that would make Ferrari best of the rest. But they're still P3 in the standings so far. So, yeah, that's pretty much whatever. That's everything that I was saying when the microphone was off. Oh, and the chat stopped as well. Hello. Let's go to number 3. Biggest Wimbo winner of the year. Okay, the chat's still working. W of the year. The biggest W will go to Oscar Piastri. He will drive so consistently well that people forget he's only 22 and only just in F1. The thing with Oscar is that there are no controversies around him other than that little hiccup with his McLaren contract. He's not a reckless, dangerous driver. He barely flips out. This will be the season that he'll mark his territory like a wombat leaving his shit. He might even get a win. Or 2. Make them Aussies proud. What do you reckon? 2. The biggest... I think I got that one correct. Oscar Piastri winning a race, getting podiums, making it very hard on Lando Norris. He's the biggest winner of this season. So, testing. Yeah. So no, I think that's the winner of the season so far. Yeah, and I see in the chat that I'm correct. Red Boy says W prediction. Very nice. And what I can predict is that there's going to be some nasty fights between Piastri and Norris. You can already feel the tension in the green room or in the cool down room. He's very popular as well. I know English YouTubers like Law VS who are just completely mad about Oscar Piastri instead of Lando Norris. I suppose if you're from England and you can pick from 4 English drivers and next year even 5, that's considering Albon is also English. then it's easier to pick somebody else. And then again, last year when we had Nick DeVries, I didn't support him very hard because he wasn't showing much. So, yeah. It's easy to support Max because he's so good. What else? Oscar Piastri. Yeah, I expect those two to fight it out the rest of the season, and it's going to be hard for Stella to keep those two in line. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, because yeah, it's just good entertainment to see teammates fight. Slowpad says, good call on Oscar. I have a lot of time for him. Yeah, a lot of people do. And Zobblepoint says, agree with Piastri. Thank you, Zobblepoint. And Jason says, Piastri getting on top of his tires will make him a serious title threat for 2025 if McLaren keep going. He's already made huge progress there. Very true. And I think that if there's a race and it comes down to that last pit stop and they throw questions at him like, do you want softs? Do you want hards? Do you want mediums? It's not going to be a back and forth. He'll just say, oh, those mediums on the first stint were brilliant, so put them on. And that's it. I think he's way more straightforward and focused. And with Lando, there's always, I don't know. Yeah, Oscar, he lost a lot of popularity lately. There's a lot of hate going around on Twitter these days, which I find amusing because I still think he's a nice kid. But with him being in a winning car, it doesn't bring out the best in him, personality-wise. But it's probably because he keeps losing. Hank says, Norris is not happy with Piastri. Exactly, that's what I said. Wheelsport says, if Norris can stop bottling the start, he'll be killer. That kid is as talented as Russell and Leclerc in my opinion, but he's missing that last bit of killer instinct. Let's see if it changes. Yep, let's see. And Slowpad says, Jason, I think Oscar will turn out to be better than Lando. And Samantha says, Oscar's mom needs to get tweeting again. Yeah, Oscar's mom. She's brilliant. Okay, let's go to the biggest bozo of the season.
This Wimbo bozo of the season. The bozo of 2024 will be Toto Wolff. We've seen all kinds of behavior from him in the past, but with a team that won't win again in 2024, two drivers fighting each other in his team again, and the way he always talks down on the cars his hard-working factory workers built, the jig will be up and he'll get the treatment from the media. This man cannot be trusted. For instance, the other day he spoke about the unfair penalty Sainz received in Las Vegas. Does he think people forgot that it was him who stood in the way of Sainz not getting that grid drop? Is he just saying this to let the following of his team hear what they want to hear, no matter how crazy it sounds? I'm sure Toto Wolff will have much more entertainment for us in 2024. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's funny that in January I was still a Toto Wolff hater, but now that Max is going to Mercedes, probably, I like Toto again. So, Toto, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I've changed. It's not you, it's me. So Toto Wolff is like, he was always very critical of Max, and what you're seeing now this year, now that there's a chance that he can hire him, that he's very nice and he's not so outspoken about Max. That role of being outspoken against Max is taken over by Zach Brown. So I'd say Zach Brown is the bozo of the year. Yeah. Just for being a complete arsehole all the time. Like, he's picking fights, and then he says, yeah, to be a champion, you don't have to be a prick. Well, you are being a prick, Zach. And who else? Yeah, as for drivers, Checo is even worse than he was all the years before. So he was this close to getting sacked, and he's lucky that he has Disney Plus as a sponsor, and the Mexican Grand Prix is still a very big, important gig. But it's yeah, it's a strange situation to see somebody underperforming and then still being kept by a team as ruthless as Red Bull. I think Red Bull in itself is also the bozo of the season with what's happening. So let me go to the chat. Gentili says, once you're at the top, the scrutiny will increase. It's happening now to Lando. Yeah, I agree with that. Um, if you go from starting place P5 and you finish P6, that's no biggie. But if you start from pole and you finish P3, then it's like a loss. So I agree with you on that, Gentilis. Wheel Sports says, yeah, Piastri is the perfect guy on the radio. Norris is like Hamilton, too indecisive. Too indecisive. And Verstappen, too busy doing Joe Rogan angry podcast. Red Bull says, Bozo is Checo. Checo pulled a pro gamer move for his title, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, he did a lot of stupid things, Checo. Dark Power says, I think if and only if there is going to be a title battle between both McLarens, I think Oscar will come out on top. Norris has a winner's mentality, but can keep as clean as Max does. Wait, let me read that again. I think Oscar will come out on top. Norris has a winner's mentality, but do you mean can't keep it as clean as Max does? Um, Slowpad is laughing. Okay. Norris isn't a kid anymore. Verstappen won his first title at Norris's age. Yeah, that's true. Everybody still thinks he's like 19, but he's 23. So he's getting old. And Red Boy says, Wimbo, tell people to like the stream. Okay, people, will you please like the stream so I can get 150 views instead of 125? No, I appreciate it. Thank you, Red Boy, for reminding me. Slowpad says, laughing at the sudden Toto love, to be clear. Yes. Yes. I've always liked Toto. No, I haven't. I might have to delete some of my old videos if Max really gets to drive for Mercedes. And Jason says, they're all kids to me, Hank. Oh, yeah, because Jason is 34, so he feels old. And someone says, I already did Red Boy. And Red Boy says, weird, I only see one like. Gentile says, Zach was definitely more likable when McLaren was bad. Definitely. Zabel point, Stroll. He's too arrogant for my taste. Although he's not that bad or anything. Sometimes he does manage to beat Alonso. Yeah. You know, we could pick him every year for Bozo of the year. Because he shouldn't be in F1. So, for a better stream, for a better video, I picked somebody else than Stroll. Samantha says IT 13 likes. Hank says just liked. Red Bull says J. And Dark Power says can't, my bad. Oh, Wheelsport says 35. Okay. Wheel Sports, you're a kid. To me, then they're all adults. Red Boy, don't delete, just private deleting messages with the algorithm. Okay. Smart says, Frick, I'm ancient then, Jason. And there's PS Tija. How would how would be team dynamics with Russell and Max as teammates? Um, I think Max will have a harder time with Russell than with Checo. Um, yeah, so they're gonna battle it out, and there will be fights and incidents. But I have seen them play padel and stuff with each other. Four drivers, and this generation of drivers, they get along with each other really well. They hang out with each other in Monaco all the time. Slowpat says, I don't want to see Max leave Red Bull Racing, but it would be hilarious if he won a chip in Lewis's old car next year. Yes, that would be hilarious because Team LH is already worried that when the car gets better, that other people will be picking the fruit of his work. Yes? Of the tree that he planted. There's already been a discussion like that on Twitter. So, wait. Yeah. Hank says, I'm Stonehenge age. Yeah, Hank is 57. He told me in a stream before. He's 10 years older than me. Samantha says, I think it would be horrible, PST Jam. And Wheelsport says, Stonehenge was put there by aliens in the 30s. Okay. I heard it on the History Channel, so you know it's true. Okay. Is that what your next documentary is going to be about, Jason? Red Boy says, I would love to see someone win in a Williams. Oh, that would be great, yes. Okay, well, Samantha's talking about the History Channel. And Hank says, team dynamics with Max and George. George will try to keep up. Okay, let's go to the last one.
Before I can prediction, I'd like to ask new viewers of this channel
my call to action.
Subscribe.
Is there anybody
I made
that
it
hasn't
into
been
the partner
subscribed to my
program,
channel?
so I'm getting
Please
a little
subscribe.
reward from ad revenue, but I'd love to work with a sponsor. For that, I need an audience, and that audience is seen in the number of subscribers. I make 2 to 3 videos a week, and I'm starting live streams and podcasts again soon. Thanks a million. 1. Huge silly season prediction. Okay, this is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The silly season will be mad in 2024, and it will all kick off at Mercedes. Towards the end of the season, Lewis Hamilton will announce he will break his contract. A performance clause will allow this. Mercedes aren't close to winning a race, and Hamilton just can't take it anymore. He will retire for now, unfollow his dog on Insta, and retreat into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. He hopes this break will see him return as a stronger upgrade, like Gandalf the Grey became Gandalf the White. Mind you, he could return as Gollum too. He will be replaced by a driver who's physically built as George Russell and has a Mercedes past. Yes, I'm of course talking about Esteban Ocon. Both he and Russell, being physically alike, will have great benefits, like being able to move the steering wheel even further backwards. It's a lineup I'd love to see, to be honest. Russell and his diplomatic ways, and the terror from Ocon. Blimey, that move will set the dominoes in motion, and God knows what might happen and who might join the grid. Maybe this legend will come back. Let me know your thoughts on these crazy predictions. Add a few if you want, or call me an idiot. Take care now. Doei doei. A special thanks to my channel members. Your help is much appreciated. Okay.
it's funny that in January I already had a feeling that Lewis Hamilton was leaving Mercedes. Um, I'm not sure if he signed the new contract. I don't think he signed the new contract yet with Mercedes. Um, because he signed and then not long after that, the news came out that he was going to drive for Ferrari in 2025. But anyway, I had that prediction half right that Lewis Hamilton was leaving Mercedes. Um, and then I had Ocon as his replacement. It looks like it's going to be Antonelli now or Max. We're still waiting to see. And it turned out that Lewis Hamilton didn't leave the sport. He went to Ferrari before leaving the sport. So, yeah, that was interesting. Um, it is the silliest of silliest seasons, isn't it? Like, um, a year ago, nobody could have predicted that we would have Saints at Red Bull, at Williams, and that we'd have a couple of new rookies after a season with no rookies. So it's an interesting silly season year. What seats have we still got left? We still have the stake seat. They're talking about putting a little young Brazilian in there. I forgot his name, but he's doing really well in F2. That could be interesting. Oh, let me go to the chat. Um, History Channel, yes. Team dynamics with Max and George. George will have to try to keep up. And Wheelsport says, no, my next film will be something with dynamite. Ha ha ha. And Samantha thinks that's funny. Slowpad says, George gets so much hate from Team LH. It's sad, in my opinion. Yeah. Red Boy says, oh my god. Samantha says, all this talk of dynamite has the old Mud song in my head. That's right, that's right, that's right. Na 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 dynamite. Red Boy says, I mean, Ferrari is the desert. Slowpad says, Jason doing adult movies next. And Hank says, Jason, you're so good in trusting other content creators. And Red Boy says, Go TV! Yeah, Go TV's coming back. Dark Power says, what do you think about Carlos and his move to Williams? Well, I like Williams and I like Carlos Sainz. So I think it's a good fit. And I hadn't thought about it, but it was Tomo that said how our Albon, who has the number one position in Williams now, how is he going to get along with Sainz, who is a big driver as well, both with a Red Bull past. But yeah, those two are going to have it out next season, and I suppose that Albon knows how the car and the team works, so he'll have that advantage. But I wouldn't be surprised if towards the rest of the season at Williams in 2025, Sainz is quicker than Albon. It's hard to predict what what his qualities really are, because he was 19 in a very difficult Red Bull car in 2020. Then he was a reserve driver, and then he went to Williams, and they were poor. So it's complicated. Red Boy says you spelled January wrong in the description. Yeah, I think I spelled it the Dutch way, but without the E. Let me see. Januari. Yeah, I think that's the Dutch spelling. I'll change it later, Red Boy. Um, Hank says Hamilton signed in the autumn, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it wasn't in January. No, I don't think I would have predicted that, Hank, if he had signed a 2-year contract with Mercedes. I think he was still thinking about it. Anyway, it's not important. Hank says after his first fail in the simulator, he signed quickly at Ferrari. Spot says, no, that's Tiger Feet, Wim. Okay, well, I don't know the Dynamite song then. And Red Boy says 69 minutes. Nice. Yeah, I've been going a little bit longer. It's also because I had like 5 minutes without audio. That didn't help. But anyway, that was the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If there's no questions or topics, then I'll be logging out soon of the live stream. So I'll give you guys a minute to think about it. I'm still thinking of a topic for my next video. I was thinking of a video called The 5 Ways Christian Horner is Ruining Red Bull. Do you think that's a good idea? Bye, Slowpat. It's great to see you. Oh, Samantha's logging out too. Okay. I see no more questions. Everybody, thank you very much for joining me at this live stream. And I wish you all a very happy weekend. And I'll probably be back next week because I really enjoy live streaming. Right, everybody. Take care now. Doei doei.